Hello, I'm Pierre Raoul. I'm a VP Converged and AI Solutions for Havas Group in France. I am in charge of rolling out Converged, the operating system and the platform within the French village. And therefore, I'm today collaborating with Ogury to connect the audiences built in the platform to your platform Ogury in order to deliver the audiences with the best integrity in all the channels. We are leveraging first-party data of our clients. We are leveraging universal identifiers, and we are also leveraging attribute match modeling that is allowing us to make sure we can have activation that is done at the best scale. What we see is that the first-party data leveraging is really interesting when we have clients that are allowing us to make sure that we can use their first-party data, but sometimes we don't have necessarily the scale or we don't have necessarily access to this first-party data as a media agency. So this is also why we have tested the universal identifiers, talking about ID5, talking about first ID, talking about UT, talking also about ramp ID in different markets. And we see here some value on how we can connect the different parts of data sets in the industry towards the activation channels. It's working well, but it's not enough to make sure that we have the whole coverage. So therefore, we developed a proprietary algorithm to activate audiences through attribute match. And this is what we're doing with Ogury, to ensure that we can have the best recreation of audiences from a panel world to Ogury's destination. It's been a challenge over the past few years in our industry. And yes, we saw some disconnection between the audience insights and the audience building at the beginning of the process and the actual activation afterwards. So we worked a lot on this to ensure that we have the highest level of integrity between the audience definition and the audience activation. We developed specific algorithm to make sure that we can have the best understanding on the audience building side to ensure that we have the strongest and the weak signals at our disposal to build the audiences and to transmit this information to the destination platform. And this is why the integration with Ogury is really great, because we have made this connection with all this level of information, with all the granularity that allow us to have the best level of integrity on the audience definition, and that we can have the highest level of confidence that the audience that will be activated will be done with the highest level of integrity. We developed campaigns for different kind of advertisers, from retail, from CPG and other types of advertisers. And what is interesting is that we have managed to activate this attribute match process on branding campaigns, but also on performance campaigns. And this is really interesting because we have the possibility to activate those two kinds of topics, from the upper funnel to the lower funnel. What we can say is that we have seen a really interesting result in terms of brand uplift increase that is really important for the upper funnel campaigns, but we also seen great results in performance campaign by a really huge increase in terms of performance KPI for the different advertisers that we've activated on. So we leverage artificial intelligence in this attribute match process that I was referring to before. We are using the best LLM models to have the best understanding of the audiences that we are building from a panel world, and making sure that we get all the information available for the attribute match for the activation piece. So we make sure that all the users of our platform gain access to all the data that we have at our disposal, and help the users decide what is the best attributes we want to activate on. So this AI is today leveraged to ensure the audience integrity from the beginning to the end of the process, and to support the decision of our users. So I see that there are two main challenges, amongst others for sure, about the creative. Is one, how can we make sure that we personalize at the right level? And the second is, how can we get all the information in terms of measurement to really have an appreciation of how effective creative are? On the first challenge, what we want to do is to make sure that we have a personalization at scale. But without identifiers and with the constraints of the media industry, we cannot have a one-to-one personalization. Or we need just to make make sure that we have the right level of personalization with the necessary amount of creative personalized that are being produced to ensure that we are not going against the objective. And from a measurement perspective, a world without identification is a complexity because it gives constraints to have a real measurement on how effective the production of creative and the personalization is really effective. And therefore, we are now compelled to engage on new technologies and new modeling to have a perfect analysis of how creative personalization is really effective and really incremental. But these are good challenges that we can have also with modeling and artificial intelligence that can help having this information.